Picture this. You're dropped into a forest. No tools, no weapons, no clothes. You're standing there, completely exposed, and somewhere nearby, something is watching you. Think about what you're up against. A chimpanzee can tear a car door off its hinges. A house cat can hear frequencies you can't even imagine exist. A bloodhound can smell a footprint 3 days old. A falcon can spot a mouse from a mile in the sky. And you can't run fast enough to catch anything. You can't smell well enough to track anything. You have no claws, no armor, no venom, no camouflage. Your skin tears if you brush against the wrong bush. Every single animal around you came pre-equipped for survival. You came with nothing. And here's what's strange. That's not a mistake. That's the plan. For most of human history, scientists thought the answer was simple. Humans won because of their brains, intelligence, problem solving. That was the edge. But that explanation skips something, because brains are expensive. The human brain burns roughly 20% of all your body's energy just to exist, just to idle. That's enormous. Most animals don't pay that price. Evolution doesn't hand out expensive organs for free. There has to be a return. So what was the trade? To understand it, you have to go back, way back, before agriculture, before fire, before language. You have to go back to the moment humans were genuinely ordinary. About 6 million years ago, our ancestors lived in trees. They were strong. They had powerful arms, gripping hands, thick body hair for warmth and protection. By every measure, they were built for the world they lived in. Then something shifted. The forest began to shrink. Slowly at first, then faster, the landscape opened up. What was once dense jungle became open savanna. Wide, exposed, merciless grassland stretching to the horizon. The animals that stayed in the trees survived just fine. Our ancestors stepped out, and the moment they did, everything that had made them strong started to disappear. The body hair went first. It didn't go quickly. It thinned over hundreds of thousands of years, and for a long time, scientists weren't sure why. The leading theory now is heat. On the open savanna, the midday sun is relentless. Most predators rest during the hottest hours. Lions lie in the shade, hyenas find cover, even prey animals stop moving. But early humans kept going. Thin hair allowed better sweating. Sweating allowed cooling. Cooling allowed movement in the midday heat when nothing else could move. For the first time, humans had a window that no other predator had. The empty savanna blazing under the sun, completely uncontested. But here's the catch. Without fur, you're vulnerable to the cold at night. You're vulnerable to sunburn during the day. You're vulnerable to parasites and insects in ways other animals aren't. You solved one problem and created 3 more. Then there's the running. Humans are famously slow. A house cat outruns the fastest human alive. A horse leaves us behind in seconds. But look at what we actually are. We're the only primate fully adapted for long-distance running. We have Achilles tendons that store energy like springs. We have a nuchal ligament, a band of tissue at the back of the neck that no other great ape has, that stabilizes our head when we run. We have an inner ear structure built for balance in motion. We were shaped for something specific, not sprinting, not power, endurance. Early humans could run at a moderate pace for hours. Most 4-legged animals can't. They overheat. They can't pant efficiently while galloping. Their breathing and their stride are mechanically linked in a way that limits them. Humans broke that link. We breathe independently of our stride. We can inhale and exhale at any point in our gait. That sounds trivial. It's not. It meant that in a long enough pursuit, we could outlast almost anything. Persistence hunting, it's called. Chase something until it collapses from exhaustion. It still happens today in a handful of communities in the Kalahari Desert. Men run after an animal, not to catch it, not to kill it quickly, but to follow it for hours, until the animal, unable to cool itself, simply stops. We didn't outrun them, we out-endured them. But endurance alone doesn't explain civilization. It doesn't explain cities. It doesn't explain satellites. It doesn't explain the fact that you're watching this on a screen made of glass and metal and rare earth minerals pulled from the ground by machines we designed. Something else happened, something far stranger. Most animals communicate. That's not unusual. Wolves howl, bees dance, elephants send low-frequency rumbles through the ground for miles. But human language does something different. It allows us to communicate things that don't exist. Think about that for a moment. A wolf can signal danger, a bee can describe where food is, but a wolf cannot tell another wolf about a plan. A bee cannot warn the hive about a threat that hasn't arrived yet. Humans can talk about yesterday, about next winter, about a place none of us have ever been, about something that has never happened but might. We can describe fiction, hypotheticals, strategy, and this created something unprecedented. Shared imagination. 50 humans who have never met can cooperate the moment they share a common story, a common belief, a common plan, a common enemy, a common identity. That's not something any other animal can do at scale. A chimpanzee troop is limited by the number of animals that can physically know each other. Roughly 50, maybe 150 at the outside. Humans built armies of millions, corporations of hundreds of thousands, religions spanning billions, all coordinating around shared ideas, not shared DNA, not shared smell, shared story. The most powerful weapon humans ever developed wasn't a sword, it wasn't a bomb, it was a sentence. But here's what still doesn't add up. If humans were so well suited for endurance and cooperation and language, why did it take so long? For roughly 200,000 years, modern humans existed. We had the same brains we have now, the same body, the same capacity for language. And for most of that time, almost nothing changed. We made the same stone tools for tens of thousands of years. Generation after generation, the same design, barely modified, no writing, no agriculture, no wheels. Then, around 70,000 years ago, something lit up. Archaeologists call it the Great Leap Forward. Suddenly there are cave paintings, jewelry, figurines, musical instruments, trade networks spanning hundreds of miles, fishing equipment, needles, which means sewn clothing, which means deliberate, planned adaptation to cold environments. The brain didn't change, the body didn't change, something else did. The best current theory is that language itself crossed a threshold, that at some point, human communication became recursive, meaning we could embed ideas inside other ideas. We could have thoughts about thoughts. We could tell stories about stories. And once you could do that, everything was possible. You could say, what if we stored food for winter? You could say, what if we taught our children to do this instead of that? You could say, what if there's something better beyond those mountains? The capacity for what if is not a small thing. It is everything. So here's where we land. Humans lost almost every physical advantage that nature offered. We lost the strength, like the speed, the armor, the instincts, the fur, the fangs, and in exchange, we got something that made none of that matter. We got the ability to imagine things that don't exist yet, and then to make them real. Every other animal is a prisoner of the present. It reacts to what is. It responds to what's in front of it. Humans live in a permanent future tense. We plan. We build. We anticipate. We dream. The weakness was never actually a weakness. It was the pressure that forced something new to emerge. Strip away the claws, and you get hands that can build. Strip away the fur, and you get a mind that invents shelter. Strip away the instincts, and you get a brain that can choose. Every single thing we lost turned out to be something we didn't need anymore, because we found something better. Not strength, not speed, the story. And once humans learned to share a story, there was no environment on Earth that could stop them.